Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's 4 in the morning. I think. Wanted to have this done an hour ago so I could be in bed by now. Yeah, that's no bueno. Quick little updates. If you guys are sports fans, I've been running this little blog on the side, just kind of for my own funsies, called the Baseball Bastard Blog. If you go to the Real NerdCorp website, down in the bottom right-hand section, you'll see headlines connected to a blog profile. That's mine. Go ahead and check it out if you want. I ranked 38 NFL quarterbacks based on performance, wins, basically how valuable they are, not necessarily on talent. So check that out. That'll be up tomorrow. It's going to auto post probably around noon or so. Don't really care if you agree or disagree. Number 1 is Brady. Number 38, which is as far as I went, is Deshaun Kaiser. So everyone else is go figure it out. Go see if your favorites on that. Well, they're on the list, but go see where on the list they are. That'll be up sometime tomorrow, so check that out. Twitter, NerdCorp, NERDCORP. I will be doing a double post off ComicCorp on tomorrow, today, whenever Friday is with this video. I only did one post today for wrestling on the website, mostly because I got swept up in other things for the blogs, because I've been doing a lot more on the NerdCorp blog as well. So keep that in mind. The new edition of ComicCorp, the podcast, is up on the website as of this posting. We talked about Riverdale and the shenaniganry on there, the new Arrow, or the new Green Arrow on Arrow. Flash is just inconsistent booking. Supergirl and the double dose of John. 2 Martian Manhunters for the price of 1. Dug it. Legends of Tomorrow and their trippy trip. As well as Hocus Pocus. We talked about that because it's the Halloween edition. As well as X-Men and some other stuff. So check out the new edition of ComicCorp. That's up. The new edition of Wrestlecorp went up yesterday as well. We talked the Jeff Jarrett situation, and I'll give you a little update on that here in a second. We also talked about Halloween Havoc 1993, the second edition of Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. Much better show than 92 in my opinion, even though Sting and Jake Roberts weren't the main event. It's still pretty cool to check out. We reviewed it and gave it our honest thoughts and whatnot. We also talked about the weather. So on this week's Wrestlecorp, which is on the website, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp. We talked about whether or not the AJ Styles and Finn Balor match lived up to the hype. Check out the podcast to find out what we thought about that. To Jeff Jarrett, we now know he's in rehab. He's expected to be there for a little while. I don't know if it's 30-day, a 28-day, 90-day, inpatient, outpatient. I don't know any of that because I didn't ask. It's not really our business. As long as he's in there getting the help he needs, that's all I really care about. So I hope we all wish him the best and speedy recovery and see where else he lands after this, because it's going to be a very interesting situation. That being said, this week's Impact was weird. Most of these for the last few weeks were weird. A lot of we were in Mexico with 2 different promotions. We were in Japan. We were in Canada. We were in Orlando. So that's 5 different promotions that had a hand in this week's episode. BCW, which is Scott D'Amore's event, Impact Wrestling, Crash, AAA, and Noah. So yeah, kind of crazy. So we open up the show. First match is Tejano and El Hijo del Fantasma versus EC3 and James Storm. They're going off. A lot of brawling on the ringside area. This is from the same set of tapings, I think, from the week before. It was fine. No, it wasn't anything that I would say it was must-see. But it was kind of interesting. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of this interpromotional stuff. But considering the build-up is to a 6-man match at Bound for Glory, I really don't see the need of having so many tag team matches with other renditions, but that's just my opinion. We then go backstage, and they're doing this really cool thing with Eli Drake I was digging, where he's like, hey, if you want me to do some interviews, dummy, you gotta wait until I'm ready. And Dutch wasn't having any of that. He's like, no, I'm Dutch man, tell motherfucker. And Eli Drake's like, I don't care, motherfucker. And that's essentially the whole skit. And then Dutch is backstage with Scott D'Amore in Jim Cornette's office, in his chair, and Cornette runs and screaming, we gotta do something about Eli Drake. And D'Amore was trying to calm Dutch down, and now D'Amore's trying to calm down Cornette, and he can't, so he just leaves. He just leaves. I should make this mention. In the beginning part of this little thing with Eli, he was on the phone with someone talking to Dutch, and when Dutch interrupted the phone call, Eli said something to the effect like, "It's not cool what they did to you. You need to get back here and do something about it." I think he was talking to Alberto El Patron, and I think they're building up to an El Patron heel turn, which, if done at Bound for Glory, would mean that El Patron would turn on Johnny Mundo, setting up a rematch of their rivalry from Lucha Underground, which was fantastic, and would also mean that Drake would keep the belt. So I'm all for that idea. OVE versus Brett Banks and Phil Atlas from BCW, Border Championship Wrestling in Canada. They start already in during the match. I don't know why. This is Scott D'Amore's company, so I don't see why they couldn't have had the start of the match. Whatever. This was a fun little thing. Banks and Atlas worked really well together. It's cool to see these matchups. I'm digging these matchups because it gives you a bit of a fresh taste of some of these guys, and maybe you see a future star or two. Maybe they work other places and they just get some notoriety and some name value. That's kind of what WWE sold their guys on for a while when they were bringing in independent talent to do squash matches, like when they brought in the Young Bucks. I think that was, 2012? 2008? Something like that. It's just for notoriety. That's literally why they brought in James Ellsworth originally, and those group of guys, was to get them notoriety so they can go back to their indie feds and ask for a little bit more cash. So I'm fine with this because it helps establish other teams, and it gives Impact the ability to say, hey, we defend our belts all over the world, and I like that. So I'm down with it. We then go back and we get a look at the American Tops team stuff. Stephan Bonner isn't worried. I'm starting more and more to like Bonner. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing for him, but if it became one, I don't think I'd have an issue with that because he does the is it Okada? He does the Okada spin into a lariat, but his is a little bit different. I can't place my finger on as to the why. I know Kenny Omega does the V trigger, and I know Seth Rollins does the Nazi fucking trigger. I don't know. So it was cool to see Bonner do it. I don't know if I'm a big fan of him copying the move, but then again, he's a real legit badass, so at least from him, it feels more real. And he's been training in pro wrestling, so maybe, who knows. I always thought Quentin Rampage Jackson would have been perfect for Impact because he had the look, the size, the charisma, he felt real. Who knows? I think Ken Shamrock won the NWA World Title at like 38 or 39 when he was with TNA the first time in 2002, so crazier things have happened. We then go to Eddie Edwards and Marufuji. I'm pretty sure this was the match that we saw in bits and pieces the other week, so I'm not exactly sure. But they showed more of it. It was cool. Eddie went to the outside and whiffed pretty hard and almost died. That was yikes. Then they come back in the ring. They do their little stuff, a Spanish fly from Marufuji, and then Eddie kicks out, and then it eventually hits him with a, he calls it the Die Hard Flosion, which is, I think, the Emerald Fusion. Emerald Fusion, that's what it's called. So he's doing that in honor of who's it, Murasawa? Did Murasawa do that? It's an homage, a nod, if you will, to a former Noah All-Star, or legend, if you will. Eddie Edwards gets the win, retains. He's going to probably walk into Bound for Glory as GHC Heavyweight Champion, so hopefully we'll see him with that belt, because that needs to happen, in my opinion. We get some hype promos, and we get OVE talking about family. They're real sick of the LAX talking about family and all that. Then they announce that they have their own family, and he'll be there for Bound for Glory. And then we see an arm with some tattoos walk up, do the thumbs up, then the thumbs down. Oh no! We talked about before how Sami Callihan was expected to be joining the promotion. A lot of people are like, well, he's going to New Japan there, Chad. And I'm like, that's not what I'm hearing. He might go to New Japan, but he's coming to Impact. And this was essentially Sami Callihan, and it was confirmed in a tongue-in-cheek way on Sami Callihan's Twitter, because he retweeted a Jeremy Borash comment. So it's Callihan, and that's cool because he had a good run in Lucha Underground, and he had a super great run before he went to NXT back in the day when it was him, Dean Ambrose, Sammy Callahan, Dean Ambrose, the Chris brothers. I think Desmond Xavier was involved. So they're going to have a cool little crew going on in Impact. And I'm hoping Desmond hooks up with these guys because they're all friends from the same region of Ohio. So thumbs up. We then get Mackenzie Mitchell kind of checking down Eli, and Eli says something that's kind of inaudible. And then she asks him a few questions, and Drake basically just pulls a Cam Newton and walks away. This was shot before Cam Newton decides to walk out, so, I can't say for certain this was done in a pop culture-esque tone, but we then get Laurel Van Ness out. She's still looking for a man. She almost gives some champagne to a kid, which was hilarious, and then I think she plants a kiss on him. It was cute. She looks awesome. Dig it. We then go up to Canada for Petey Williams versus Kiyomiya, Idris Abraham, and Tarek. I know 3 of them. I did not know who Kiyomiya was, but he was pretty good. He was the Japanese young boy, I believe, is what he is. He had black trunks on. Tarek had the blue bands around his black trunks. Idris Abraham was the one who looked different from everyone else. And then, of course, there's Petey Williams. Petey comes out to the old Canadian Team Canada music. A hint of things to come. I always thought that Team Canada was kind of a thing that didn't need to go away when it did. So bring it back, damn it. Petey gets the win with the Canadian Destroyer on Tarek, I believe. So, yeah. That was cool. Eli Drake talks about his new tag team with Chris Adonis. They call themselves DNA. I dig it because it's kind of a playoff of TNA and their names. And all I like that. That's some funny. Then we get Eli Drake and Chris Adonis versus Johnny Impact and Gaza Jr. in a tag team match. This was fine. I feel like Garza Jr. has been forced into this role, and I don't think it really works for him. Adonis, I keep saying this, man. If Adonis would just start wrestling as a submission wrestler with his size, his legitimacy in the business, he already has a finishing submission hold. Like, I think that would be great. I think he would get over a lot. Because he's not that charismatic, but he's charismatic enough. And if you give him like a submission gimmick where he's just constantly applying submission holds and working things, you could bill him kind of as a modern-day major heavyweight Dean Malenko type. He wouldn't be as good in the ring, obviously, but it's about perception, not reality. Garza and Impact get the win, though, after Adonis gets pinned, because that's why Adonis is there. We're back to Crash in Tijuana. And down there, it's Trevor Lee versus Ultimo Ninja. And this was a really... It wasn't great. Ultimo Ninja and Trevor Lee obviously had a language barrier. They were playing off of each other's moves. It wasn't that fluid. There was a lot of kind of moments that you stopped and you almost readjusted. The crowd for this match wasn't great. It was a strong house, yes. But it just felt like they were kind of tired. Maybe this was at the end of the night. Who knows? I don't... So then we get a Global Forged. We get 2 finalists. I think it's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, I think. I know one of them is Idris Abraham, I think. No, Hakeem Zayn. Wait. Which one was on the show tonight? Hang on. Idris Abraham. So one of the winners was Hakeem Zayn, and the other one I forgot who it was. So they're going to have a match, and we'll see how it goes. Then we get King Mo. He calls Moose a joke and refers to him as Bullwinkle, which was the name of... the name of the moose in Rocky and Bullwinkle. So I thought that was great. We then get the main event, Lashley versus Moose. Moose got stiff and bonnered. Dan Lambert's with Lashley. I'm telling you, man, Dan Lambert would be a great wrestling manager. Just saying. This was all right. 4 or 5 minutes. It definitely shouldn't have been any longer because the whole point is to get these 2 in the cage. So you want to keep these type of matches really short and concise. Eventually, Stephen Bonner gets in the ring and just beats the hell out of Lashley with that spinning clothesline he did. It's a variant of the Okada clothesline. It's not the same, but it is taken from him. You can obviously tell, but that's fine. He added his own little spice to it. It was like when everyone was doing the powerbomb in 1998 or 96, whenever it started. And Nash would just kind of let his go at the top apex while everyone else would kind of drive them down. It was just a little difference, and it made the world. World of difference, I should say. Eventually, American Top Team gets involved and starts beating down both men, but Moose is able to battle back with Stephen Bonner, picks up one of the American Top Team guys and power bombs him over the top rope, reminding me of that spot from CZW a few nights ago. I'm not a CZW guy, but I saw that spot and that made me cringe, and this was kind of similar, so cringe, just all the cringe. Overall, I'd give it a C. There's definitely times I'm like, I can just skip this, probably, but then I might miss them. I could skip this, probably, then I might miss. So when I get like that, it's a combination of I'm tired and the show's not really doing its job to keep me engaged. It's not by any means a bad, show. I would definitely say it's worth watching. The Stephen Bonner promo was cool. The OVE Sami Callihan thing was cool. The OVE match was a lot of fun. The four-way match from BCW was a lot of fun. So there's obviously stuff on the show worth watching. I just think that they were a little promo heavy and not so much interactive heavy. And Eli Drake, yeah, he was all right, but I feel like he was maybe on his way out the door on the last night of tapings. Like, hey, we need to get 5 minutes of footage. And Eli Drake's like, all right, whatever. So, not the best match, not the best show, but it was fine. As I say that as I'm watching Jeff Jarrett push Toby Keith out of the way on the first edition of Impact's weekly pay-per-view. On Pluto TV, channel, which channel is this? 204. I actually do watch this channel a lot. I turned my PS4 into a television cable console. I got this. I got, obviously, YouTube on it. But I also have Tubi, Tubi, which is kind of like a free service. They got some stuff on there. Not as cool as Pluto, but if you're more a fan of a free setup, it definitely has some stuff on there. And there was something on there, I forgot what it was, but something I definitely wanted to watch. So, yeah, we'll check it out here tomorrow and see how it goes. Speaking of tomorrow, the sun will come out, but I will not be here. There will be no Twitch show. I know we didn't have one last week, but that was because Swish was ill. I will be at a Halloween party. I'm going as a... should I tell you, or should I just let you find out on Instagram? I'll post it on Instagram. Go to Chad NerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, to see what my Halloween costume was. It's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. It's super simple. It's super terrible. I put the least amount of effort into something in my life, and that's what this was. Like, there was some effort put in, but it's like just barely any. But it's the most barely any you can put into something before it becomes some interest. So. Just saying, I think I nailed it this year. Also, what was the other thing I wanted to bring up? Forgot. There's something else I want to mention, but oh yeah. Just take this for what it is. The Global Wrestling Network account is plucking some Teddy Hart stuff on the website. Now this is, again, take it for what it's worth, because Shinsuke Nakamura's match with who the fuck was it? Oh, God. I just watched it, too. Was it A1, Eric Young? I don't know. It was somebody. Nakamura had a match in, 2008 when he was IWGP champion to help build up to the Kurt Angle match, and it was for Explosion, which was for a lot of international markets. Angle was going to wrestle him to unify the IWGP championships. So he was here to wrestle for one night, and that's up on the website for free. So if you want to check out that never-before-seen match in America, check it out. It's interesting. That being said, I think that's everything. I don't know if Impact's bringing in Teddy Hart, although Scott D'Amore was a fan of his, and they are going to Canada, so, and he is making a comeback, so we'll see. I haven't heard anything, although I have heard that Sammy is in fact in, so we'll see what happens. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. How much time have I wasted? 18 minutes. Fuck. I want to do this in 14, but whatever. Alrighty. That's it. RealNerdCorp.com. Check it out. All the stuff you'll ever need to know to follow us is on that website, RealNerdCorp.com. It is the only thing you need if you want to follow us. Everything else you'll need is on there. The Tumblr, the Twitters, the Facebooks, everything. All the podcasts go up on there. All the news posts and whatnot. It's your one-stop shop for all things NerdCorp. So with that being said, I've been Chad Porto. This has been Making an Impact, episode 33. And I wish you all a good night and a happy Halloween. Be safe. Don't eat the razor blades. Save them. Put them into your razors and then shave your faces. Because some of y'all can't grow facial hair and you look weird doing it. Peace.